Today I'm going to be making one of our favorite pumpkin recipes, which is a 2-layer pumpkin cheesecake. As you can see, I already got all our ingredients out. Obviously we have pumpkin. It just takes 1 cup of fresh pumpkin, and I've already got it in the strainer, so it's getting all that juice out of there. And let's see, of course it's cheesecake, so you have 2 packages of 8 ounce of cream cheese. And you can't really see it, but I promise there's a half a cup of sugar in here. And also 2 beaten eggs. And it's a ½ teaspoon of vanilla extract. And as far as the spices go, you can do whatever you want. We use 1 teaspoon of cinnamon and a ½ teaspoon of nutmeg and a ½ teaspoon of cloves. You can change that how you want. And of course the pie crust, which I cheat and buy a pre-made one. But that's all the ingredients that it takes. And the first step is to put the oven to 325 and we'll get it mixed up. After turning on the oven to 325, the first step is to beat the cream cheese. So we'll get that in our mixer here. And it's 2 packages of cream cheese, and I let it soften for a little while first. It just makes the mixing a lot easier. Now we have the cream cheese slightly blended, so we're going to add the ½ teaspoon vanilla and also the ½ cup of sugar. And we'll give that a good mix. There we go. Now that that's mixed, we'll add the slightly beaten egg. About 1 egg at a time. I probably do about 1/3 of the whole 2 eggs there. We'll mix that. Alright, and since this is a 2-layer pumpkin cheesecake, we're going to take the crust over here. And we're going to take out 1 cup of the filling. So I'll just scoop up 1 cup. I usually don't use a measuring cup, but for video's sake, I guess I will. So this will actually be most of your mixture that'll end up coming out. Pretty close, and we'll just put it in the crust. There we go, it's most of it out there. And then I'll just take a clean spoon and just kind of smooth it out some. You want it to be fairly level. Doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but alright, that looks pretty good, and we'll get working on the second layer now. Get this out of the way. And the next step is to add the 1 cup of pumpkin. And again, I used fresh pumpkin, but using canned is okay too. If I run out of fresh pumpkin, I will definitely use canned, because like I said, this is our favorite pumpkin recipe and we go through it a lot. And now for our spices, which is the 1 teaspoon cinnamon and a ½ teaspoon each of cloves and nutmeg. And we'll blend this together. Alright, that looks pretty good. So we will get our first layer and we'll just add this to the top and that'll be it. It's one of our favorite recipes, like I said, and it's also one of the easiest recipes to make. It doesn't take any time at all. Just try to pour it on there kind of slow so it doesn't mess up the first layer too much. Smooth it out a little bit. And that looks pretty good right there, so we'll get her in the oven. Alright, it's in the oven and we'll let it bake at 325 for about 35 minutes and we'll see how it looks when it's done. Okay, it's been 35 minutes at 325 degrees Fahrenheit. And we'll slide it out a little bit, and it looks like it's pretty well set. So one thing I like to do to help prevent it from cracking is I'll actually leave it in the oven for about an hour so it doesn't cool down too quick. So we'll just turn it off and let it sit, and once it's all cooled off, we'll put it in the fridge and let it sit for a couple hours or overnight depending on what time it is. It's only 3 o'clock, so we'll leave it in about 7, 8 o'clock at night. It'll be cold enough to eat. So after sitting in the refrigerator for a couple hours, our pumpkin cheesecake is done and it should be ready to eat. There it is. Shut the door and we'll set it over here. It's been in the refrigerator for 4 hours now. I'd recommend at least 4 hours or overnight. And like I said, after it finished in the oven cooking for 35 minutes, I left it in there with the oven off and the door shut for about half an hour. And then I cracked the door of the oven open and left it in for another about 45 minutes or so. And then I put it in the refrigerator directly after that. So it just allowed it to cool off a little bit more gradually, so it doesn't crack or anything like that. So there it is. We'll cut it up and put it on a plate. So here's the final product, minus a little bit of the corner on it anyways, that kind of broke off. But you get the idea. You get to see the double layers. And it just makes for a good twist on the pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving or any other holiday. It's just something a little bit different to have the double layer cheesecake. And it tastes pretty good, so you'll have to give it a try.